During my 15 years as a business leader, I've often encountered pace-setting leaders. Pace-setting can be a great tool, as long as it is calibrated properly. This video explains the main aspects of pace-setting leadership, its advantages and disadvantages, how to implement it, and when to use this style to accelerate performance. The video ends with a few practical examples from my leadership career. Please support us by liking this video. We'd also appreciate if you would subscribe to our channel so you can watch our future leadership videos. Pace-setting leadership is when the leader sets an example of high performance, high pace, and high quality. Team members watch the pace-setting leader and her speed, performance and quality of work. They are then expected to follow suit, as the pace-setting leader values results more than anything. A pace-setting leader is guided by the principle of not assigning too difficult tasks to each employee. In other words, this leader carefully avoids setting people up to fail by properly balancing the tasks versus the skills of each person. Trouble looms if the results don't meet the expectations in the end. Missed deadlines, failing to meet targets, and bad KPIs are unacceptable to a pace-setting leader. Results are what counts in the end. If an employee fails despite the balanced workload, the leader believes that it's fair to either swoop in and take over, or perhaps even fire that person on the grounds of incompetence. It's important to underline that pace-setting is more like, follow me and do as I do. Where the more authoritarian style of commanding leadership is more like do as I say. Pace-setting leadership can be good to reach short-term results, but can be detrimental for employee engagement and motivation in the long run. We'll show you how to balance this properly in this video. Daniel Goleman is a world-renowned psychologist, best known for developing the concept of emotional intelligence further. Through many years of study and research, Goleman was able to establish a connection between emotions and leadership. This work included a framework of 6 different leadership styles. Pace-setting leadership is one of them, followed by visionary, coaching, affiliative, commanding, and democratic leadership. The idea is that every leader should use as many of the styles as possible, and pick a style depending on the situation, people and circumstances at hand. As mentioned, pace-setting needs to be calibrated. Simply make sure that you do not overuse this style and frequently switch to the other 5 styles. Watch our video on the 6 leadership style framework to understand the big picture. There's a link available at the top of the screen. It's time for the elements of pace-setting. Please remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel. There are 4 different elements at the core of pace-setting leadership. Work with these aspects if you want to become a more pace-setting leader. The 4 elements are self-motivation, clearly communicated requirements, initiative, and trend-setting. A pace-setting leader is highly self-motivated. This leader has a strong desire to succeed, and sets standards of extreme performance and perfection. Invariably, a pace-setting leader assumes that employees have the same level of self-motivation and expect them to meet the leader's high-performance standards. There is no room for ambiguity. An effective pace-setting leader knows that high quality can't be expected from a team if requirements are unclear. Therefore, this leader will begin each project by ensuring that requirements are clearly understood, before asking employees to complete their assigned tasks. The flip side of this is that there is little to no guidance along the way to ensure the right end result. A pace-setting leader expects direct reports to be competent enough to produce the required output without being told how to do it. This means that pace-setting leadership isn't built on micromanagement. Time is always working against the lofty goals that pace-setting leaders strive to achieve. Therefore, these leaders use great initiative to get things done as quickly as possible. The backside of this is that an employee who isn't keeping up with the leader's fast-paced approach may be asked to step aside, so that the leader can take over. There's no time for tasks to fall behind schedule in the world of the pace setter. A pace-setting leader leads by example. This leader sets the trend for others to follow. Those who can't keep up with the trend are often left at the wayside. It's time for the pros and cons of the pace-setting leadership style. After that, we will expand on how and when to use this style in the best way. There are some substantial pros with pace setting. In fact, I think there has to be at least some portion of pace setting in all business leaders. Without any pace setting, there will be little or no strive for improved results and higher performance. Number 1. Business goals are quickly achieved. Strict timelines and emphasis on high-quality output make pace-setting leadership ideal for achieving short-term and time-sensitive organizational goals. Pace setting could, for instance, mean getting that new product introduced on time or getting the sales department to close additional deals. Number 2. Utilization of the competencies of a highly skilled and experienced team. This kind of team already knows how to effectively utilize each team member to achieve the best results, as quickly as possible. The leader is able to identify the strongest competencies within the team, and leverage those appropriately. Number 3. Issues are swiftly addressed. Since the end result is of such great importance, a pace-setting leader doesn't sit idle, hoping that the team gets things done. This leader requires progress updates so that the project's timeline is kept intact. Although the leader may not have the best approach for resolving the issues, it helps that things aren't allowed to spiral out of control. Instead, corrective actions can be put into place quickly to remove any roadblocks. When there are advantages, there are bound to be disadvantages as well. Pace-setting leadership can be very tough for any team. If you learn the potential detrimental effects of it, you will be more likely to avoid them, and apply pace-setting leadership the right way. Remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Number 1. Employees can feel stressed, overwhelmed and unmotivated. A team led by a pace-setting leader can quickly fall apart if each team member isn't already highly skilled and motivated. Employees who prefer more guidance and opportunities to learn and improve will quickly feel overwhelmed and demotivated by a pace-setting leader. Inability to deliver can lead to stressed team members and feelings of inadequacy. 2. Trust is lost. Instead of focusing on doing their best, team members second-guess their work because they aren't sure whether it's up to par. The leader is constantly on the lookout for performance issues, which builds tension as the team fear that the leader will either take over people's tasks or dismiss them. Number 3. Work becomes repetitive and boring. The strong focus on results leave less room for creativity and innovation when there are deadlines to meet, and an expectation for consistently high levels of performance. This leads to work becoming short-sighted, repetitive, and boring. Next. Employees receive little or no feedback. Only one of two options come to the forefront of a pace-setting leader's mind when a project's timeline is threatened. The leader will either take over so that work gets done on time or get rid of perceived underperformers. There's no middle ground. Therefore, employees don't receive the feedback they need in order to improve. 5. Employee engagement is low. The team doesn't really feel like a team. There's no focus on establishing relationships and building team morale. Instead, employees fall into the routine of coming to work, hurriedly completing tasks to meet deadlines, and going home mentally exhausted from the pressure of a strained work environment. Always being in a rush and experiencing high pressure can be devastating for team morale and employee engagement. With so many disadvantages, there's no wonder Goldman concluded that this style is detrimental to your organizational climate and long-term performance. Most of these disadvantages are easily mitigated by simply balancing how much and how often you pace set. Remember to use the other 5 styles in this framework. Affiliative leadership is perfect to build trust, and visionary leadership is great for building engagement. So, what is the right dose of pace-setting leadership and when should you use it? I use pace setting when there is a serious time constraint or need for a heightened sense of urgency. This could be when resolving customer issues, catching up before a critical milestone, or when we simply must put that extra effort in. Me and my team used it for a month in order to break our previous $200 million annual sales record. The more frequently you use it, the less of an effect it will have. Using it all the time is not an option. It will devastate your team and ruin your results in the long run. Consider pace setting as that extra rocket boost on your imaginary spaceship that you can use to get out of trouble quickly. Use it too frequently and you'll be out of fuel when you really need it. Use a good solid mix of the 6 leadership styles as your basic leadership platform, all depending on your job, your team, industry, and the situation. Then scale the styles up and down as required. Is there a complete sense of urgency on the quarterly result, or does the team need to focus solely on getting things out of your crammed warehouse? Then push up your pace setting portion for that 1 or those 2 weeks when it is truly needed. Just remember to go back to your basic mix afterwards. That way you avoid exhausting your team, and you will have that extra gear to use when you really need it. Remember to watch our full video on the 6 leadership styles. That knowledge is essential when using pace setting. There's a link at the end of this video. Have you ever worked for a truly pace setting leader? Please share in the comments section. Do you have any questions about leadership styles? Put them in a comment, I'd be happy to answer them. I do hope you've enjoyed this video and that you've learned about pace setting. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on our future videos on leadership. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. This video was brought to you by leadershipahoy.com.